Now let's find out how to fill out the application for a newly designated King Sejong Institute. First, the applicant will check the application requirements, including the required documents, and be familiar with the operational regulations, operation guidelines, and agreement of entrustment for King Sejong Institute. Applications can only be completed and submitted through the online application system, so please refer to the examples before completing your application. The deadline for submitting the application is Monday, January 31st, 2022 by 5 p.m. It cannot be submitted after the deadline, so please make sure that the submission is completed before the deadline. Next, let's find out how to fill out an application. First, enter the online application system address in the internet browser and log in. If you don't have a Nuri King Sejong Institute account, please click the Sign Up button below to sign up first. For your information, the account you used to apply for the new King Sejong Institute may be reused. However, if an individual who is already operating a King Sejong Institute submits a new application, said individual must create a new account for the new application. This is the Nuri King Sejong Institute membership sign-up page. Even if you are not a Korean language teacher, you may sign up as a teacher staff member. After logging in, agree to the terms and conditions and privacy policy and click Sign Up as a new institute. Before filling out the application form, enter the basic information and institution information of a new King Sejong Institute applicant. Complete all of the mandatory fields and move to Step 2, Institution Selection page. Enter the name of an institution in the Institute Name search box. Press the Select button if an institution is found. If you cannot find the name of your institute on the list of institutes, enter the basic information of the institute and the representative's information, and press the Register button at the bottom. To complete the membership sign-up procedure, fill in all the necessary information, and you'll be presented with information about the 2022 New King Sejong Institute Designation Program. Check the program schedules and attachments, and then click the Registration button below. Please check the operation regulations of King Sejong Institute, Agreement of Entrustment for King Sejong Institute, and Consent of Personal Information Utilization. In the Institute Basic Information, please enter information regarding the planned site for the institution. When entering applying organization information, the input field changes according to independent type or associated type selection. If independent type is selected, information of the local operating organization must be entered. If associated type is selected, information of the local operating organization and operating organization in Korea must be entered separately in each input field. Please enter the information about representative and operator of the applying institution. The operator here should be someone who can actually contact the King Sejong Institute Foundation regarding operations of the new King Sejong Institute designation. You should provide information regarding the country of the planned site, regional information, the current status of the demand for Korean language and culture, and the supply status of the planned site of King Sejong Institute. After this, please attach all the photos of the planned site of the institute. The attached photos must be photos of the actual building, lecture rooms, administrative rooms, etc., and cannot be falsely registered. After downloading the pledge for implementing the business consignment contract for King Sejong Institute, the head of the application institution should confirm and sign all of the pledge where required. After uploading all mandatory required documents, be sure to click the Save button and move on to the next step on the right. Next is the business plan. After writing institution's background, and purpose of pursuing this project for the new designation of King Sejong Institute. Enter short-term, medium, and long-term business goals and detailed activities. Finally, after indicating the expected effects, proceed to the next step. Now let's find out how to fill out information regarding the operation plan for King Sejong Institute. First, please fill out information regarding the Institute Director and those who will serve as staff. For Korean language teachers, enter the number of teachers who meet the Foundation's 3 qualification requirements for Korean language teachers at King Sejong Institute. If the teacher meets more than 1 qualification requirement, enter the highest qualification. For example, if a prospective teacher has both a Korean language teacher certificate and a Korean language teacher training certificate, you should enter the one who has a Korean language teacher certificate, which is a higher qualification. If the applicant does not have a Korean language teacher who meets the requirements of qualification, download and fill out the application form to request teachers from the King Sejong Institute Foundation and attach it. Please register all the resumes of the Institute Director, operating personnel, and prospective teachers. In addition, if the Institute Director concurrently serves as operating personnel or a Korean language teacher, the resume should be registered twice for each one. Enter the academic history, experience, and other qualifications, and then register. In the case of teachers, the Korean language teacher certificate and a certificate of completion of a Korean language teacher training course, which serve as evidence corresponding to the requirements of Korean language teachers at King Sejong Institute, must be attached so that the qualifications of teachers can be verified during the examination. For the facility overview, please enter information about the space used as the actual King Sejong Institute. There must be 2 classrooms that can accommodate at least 10 people and 1 administrative room, so take this into consideration. After clicking the Facility Status Registration button, please indicate the area and capacity of the facility as accurately as possible. Also, you should enter information on the equipment and devices currently held by the institution, which can be used for the operation of King Sejong Institute. Next, it's time to write a class operation plan. Press the Semester Registration button to register a semester. The term of the semester shall be at least 15 weeks for 6 months, from July to December 2022, which corresponds to the trial period when the new King Sejong Institute is designated. After registering a semester, press the Course Registration button to enter course information. The number of classes per week should add up to at least 45 hours, depending on your local academic environment. Register the course by referring to the basic curriculum of King Sejong Institute. If tuition fees are received from King Sejong Institute, enter information about the tuition plan. Lecture fees can be set independently by the institute by considering the duration and contents of the education. Fees must not be set excessively high, considering the public nature of King Sejong Institute and support from the foundation. Enter the event plan and promotional plan, and then move on to the next step. The following is a description of the terms related to budget planning. Business expenses for King Sejong Institute consist of subsidies, self-payment, and revenue. The subsidy is the amount of money that the King Sejong Institute Foundation provides to the King Sejong Institute, with subsidies received from the Korean government. The self-payment is the amount that institution invests in the form of direct capital. Investing in self-payment is not mandatory. The proceeds are the amount incurred through the operation of King Sejong Institute, including the tuition fee for the King Sejong Institute. Revenues are not mandatory too. Although the subsidy should be indicated as approximately 30 million won, it can be converted to a local currency. Subsidies on the budget plan indicated by the institution can be adjusted after the King Sejong Institute Foundation reviews the appropriateness of the budget. The budget plan should be filled out by referring to the example of the application form for the designation of the new King Sejong Institute in 2022. Self-payments are recognized only as direct capital. In other words, it should be cash input. If the operating institution supports proxy purchase or spot trading, the relevant corroborating documents should be submitted. For the proceeds, please enter the amount expected in the future. If you do not receive tuition fees, please indicate it as 0 won. Next, please indicate domestic and foreign media coverage of the institution and submit a recommendation letter that recommends the institution. If you do not have a letter of recommendation, please indicate it as none. Lastly, please check the application status for missing details and recheck for missing content. Please note that it cannot be modified after the final submission. Check the status of the application on the Confirmation Submission Results page. If the final save status is temporarily saved, it will be marked as temporarily saved. If submitted, it will be shown as submission completed. You can check the details of the application by clicking on the application name.